right, I can stop. I can't really stop, but I think I can. I keep meaning to stop, but I keep publishing 4 books a year, and every time I publish a book, I get an idea for 2 more books. Anyway, my point is that if you're doing something that you're doing, it's you have a passion for it, you want to do it, you cannot not do it. This is what you're designed to do. You just love to do it. You love to do it even if you don't get paid for it. If you're doing something because you're forcing yourself to do it just because of the money, you'll never be successful. If you're doing it because you care about the people you're doing it for, then your chances are great. The market only pays superior rewards for excellent products and services, and your goal is to be the best. And to be the best means you want to be in the top 10% in your field. You want to be recognized as in the top 10%. Good morning. I hope you all got a good sleep. You're all ready to go. Batteries are recharged. We were having an interesting talk at breakfast this morning, and I wanted to touch on something. I was listening to an interview by a man named David Foster, who is an impresario. I'll come back to him a little later because he had some interesting observations. But Darren Hardy, the interviewer, president of Success Magazine, was asking him, "So what do you do on the weekends?" And he stopped. You could hear the blank in the tape. And he said, I don't know any successful person who does not work 6 days a week. I don't know any successful person who doesn't work 6 days a week. And sort of led to the conversation. The fact is that if you're an entrepreneur and you're in the right field, you love your work. You really enjoy what you're doing, and therefore doing what you're doing is not work. And because it's not work, because of the path of least resistance, you have a tendency to do it all the time, and to do it and do it and do it, and your day expands. And you know, Dan Sullivan has this wonderful line. He says, every day for an entrepreneur is a potential work day. So therefore, you work on Saturday, you work on Sunday, you work on Monday, you work on your vacations, you work in the evening, you just work all the time. So for you not to work, which is absolutely essential for you to get enough rest, to recharge your batteries, to become creative, for you not to work is much harder than to work. And what Barbara and I love to work. I mean, if you don't slap my hand, I'll just keep working, I'll write books and I'll do articles and so on. So I have to discipline myself and promise Barbara I will take a day off a week. Now, it'd be nice to take more days off a week, but most entrepreneurs work 6 days a week because they love what they're doing and they're getting good results. And there was a book that came out the other day, it was a few years ago, it was called something about the beauty of the Sabbath or something like that. And it was by a Jewish writer who wrote about the Sabbath and how important it is to incorporate a Sabbath into your busy work week. Now, a Sabbath, if you saw the movie Fiddler on the Roof, which is how much I know, it starts at 6 o'clock on Friday night and goes until 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So it's 36 hours. And I'm going to suggest to you that you need to discipline yourself, and it takes tremendous discipline not to work for a good entrepreneur. We have to hold ourselves back, like holding the reins of a horse, because we love to work. And so, but you have to stop working because you have to recharge yourself, rejuvenate. You've got to spend more time with your family. You have to exercise. You have to go for walks. You have to smell the roses along the way. So what I'm going to suggest you do is that you resolve that from now on you're going to have a Sabbath every week. And it can start at 6 o'clock on Friday night and end on Sunday morning. Or it can start at 6 o'clock on Saturday night and it can end on Monday morning. But take 36 hours and just take that time and refuse to work. And you'll find that it's hard. So you have to promise the people around you that you're not going to work at this time. You have to plan in advance, and then at 6 o'clock, ka-chunk, stop the work. And just discipline yourself not to work. Now here's the great thing. First of all, you'll soon learn to like it. You'll get into the rhythm of it. The second thing is that you'll be much more productive the rest of your days, the rest of your weeks, if you're fully rested. Remember, I said yesterday, what's the most important work in America? What's the most important work that you do? It is what? Thinking. And thinking is so critical, but it's not just thinking, it's rested thinking. If you can imagine a battery trying to start a car on a cold morning and the battery's dull and it won't start the car. Well, your mind is like a battery as well. It has to be recharged for it to function at really high levels. So rested thinking time is the most precious thing you have. When you take the time to rest, you'll come up with great ideas, you'll solve problems, you'll have insights, you'll be more personable, you'll have more energy. You know that if you start off a day tired, you kind of drag the whole day and you end up doing little useless things. You have no sort of energy to get into those big important tasks, so you end up just working the whole day on your bottom 80%. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? But if you're fully rested, you want to get into something meaty. You want to get into something important. So it's really important that you discipline yourself to take time off, to rest. Now, I've had people in my coaching programs like this for years, and I've explained to them that there is a problem in America amongst business owners. It's called sleep deprivation. About 60-70% of American adults are sleep deprived. They all work for the government, you know. But the point is that we don't get enough sleep. How many people here woke up this morning thinking about when you could go back to bed tonight? No, you know something's wrong here. If the first thing you think of is, when can I go back to bed? I got to get up. When can I go back to bed? And so therefore, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. You need 8 hours of sleep in order to rejuvenate your mind and your body. Your body burns an enormous amount of energy when you are running your business, and you need to rejuvenate. You need 8 hours. And I've had people in my classes who are working on 5 hours a night for week after week, month after month, and I force them, I ask them to start sleeping 8 hours a night. Go to bed at 10, get up at 6. Go to bed at 10, get up at 6, get 8 hours. And you know what they told me? They came back 90 days later and they said, it was like waking up from a fog. It was like being in a drug-induced fog. And after a week of sleeping 8 hours a night, they could not believe. I mean, their whole world was different. One gentleman lost 22 pounds in that 90 days because if you're tired, you eat a lot because your body's screaming for sustenance. So you're eating all the time, and you're eating not necessarily that good. If you're fully rested, your body doesn't demand that you eat so much food. Especially, it doesn't demand that you eat sugars to give yourself a quick energy hit. Are you with me so far? So just taking 8 hours of sleep a night can change your whole life. You're more personable, you're more relaxed, you're more creative, you're much more effective with other people, your immune system is much stronger, you have more energy, you eat less, you have more energy for exercise. Number one reason that people don't exercise is they don't have the energy. You know, by the end of the day, you're exhausted. Why don't you read in the evenings? Because you're too tired. You know, so just the 8 hours a night will really help you. So I just wanted to pass that on before we begin. Now, this session is, I think, what I call the jelly and the jelly donut. This is really, really important. And we say this, session 2 is offer a great product or service. Session 2 is offer a great product or service. And I would say that 90% of business success comes from your ability to offer a great product or service in the first place. And the reason I mention this is there's an enormous number of entrepreneurs who have been misled. They've been misguided, and they've been told that you can be successful just selling something that people want. No. What are the 3 most important factors in business? I told you yesterday, start with C, rhyme with competition. What are they? Competition, competition, competition. And that means that customers are extremely skeptical and demanding, and it's just like going into the marketplace and you have your product, and with the internet, your product is set next to every other product that is identical to it in the world. I can find out your product and the best price to buy it and the specifications on it in about 3 seconds in Google on the internet. I can throw out a spider. I can do, what is that little piece of software they have where you can find the lowest cost price of your product or comparable products in the world in about 2 seconds? So therefore, I've worked with people who say, well, the secret to my success is to find a customer who doesn't know what else is available. No, they've told me that. Because if they compare my product with what else is available, they never buy my product, not at my price, not at my quality. So they're starting from the wrong end. The fact is, successful business people are really adamant about a quality product. Look at one of my favorite examples of quality products is iPod. It comes out with an iPod. Apple was down to 3% of the world computer market and was basically kind of like a tinker toy market on the side. Good quality products, but not going anywhere in comparison with Microsoft. And then they came out with the iPod. But in order to do iPod, they had to create iTunes, so there was something to download onto iPod. So they created a whole new industry. As we said yesterday, the Sony Walkman is now history. It dominated the world market for portable music. It was gone now. And then people thought, isn't that incredible? iPod Shuffle, iPod and little, I've got 2 or 3 of them. And then 2 or 3 years later, they come up with the iPhone. They're not even in the telephone business. You think Verizon and AT&T and Samsung and Nokia and others people weren't pissed? You bet they were. They come out with a telephone, and the telephone has just swept the world. They're selling 50 million a year of these telephones. And then they said, well, does anybody want to build apps? They got 350,000 apps. Last year it was 286,000. They got 350,000 apps for your phone now, which makes that phone one of the most incredible things. I don't have one yet. I got a BlackBerry on Buzz. right now. But everybody in my family has an iPhone. Then they come up with the second generation. And remember how everybody was tipped over because there was one little way if you held it on the outside that it kind of interfered with the reception? I mean, the whole world was screaming that there was a quality flaw in the new iPhone. And then people start to use the iPhone and consuming it by the tens of millions. Then what did they do? They come up with an iPad, sold 15 million in less than a year, and changed the whole world. Do you see what happened with Amazon today? Amazon is now selling more books online, ebooks, than they are selling real books. And this has taken place in less than 24 months with the advent of the iPad. Isn't that incredible? The whole world is changed. The publishing industry in New York is in disaster conditions. I mean, they're like an impending hurricane coming because book sales are dropping and ebook sales are going up. And many writers like myself are saying, you know, the heck with you guys. I'll just publish ebooks. I'll go straight to Barnes & Noble. I have an account on Barnes & Noble. I can give them my own ebook. I don't even have to go to a publisher. And they sell it by ebook, and they sell more by ebook than through publishers, and publishers are sometimes not that easy to deal with. Wasn't that diplomatic, just in case there was a publisher in the audience? So my point is that you have to have a quality product. And if your product is not high quality, you're living on borrowed time. You'll soon be out of time and out of money, and you'll be back on the street working for wages. And so please, it's so important for you to understand is that a quality product is the jelly in your jelly donut. Everything else is bread. It's the quality product. The key then is to find a way to get that product to your customer, and I'll talk about that in subsequent sessions. So we say quality is the key determinant of your growth and profitability. They did a study at Harvard, 22-year study called the PIM study, Profit Improvement Management Strategy or something like that. And they took the best data from over 600 companies and they tracked them for about 22 years. And it was confidential data. These companies gave all their data to the researchers, and the researchers didn't share it. They just shared the averages. What they found was that if you went into a marketplace and you asked customers, what is the highest quality company in this industry? Let's say real estate or jewelry or restaurant or anything else. And people said, well, in my opinion, Morton's is the best restaurant, and Zale's the best jeweler, and so-and-so's the best dry cleaner. If you then looked at their books behind the scenes, you would find that whatever product is purported to be the highest quality was also the most profitable in that industry. They had an interesting test. They did this in Arizona, in Phoenix. They asked them, what is the highest quality department store? And the consensus in Phoenix was Nordstrom's. And Nordstrom's is also the highest profit department store because it has the highest quality perception. The problem with the Phoenix stores, because they compared them with all the other department stores in Phoenix, is there was no Nordstrom's in Phoenix. But people had traveled to California and shopped at Nordstrom stores and went back and told all their friends about how good the experience was. And the consensus was that Nordstrom's was the best, even though they didn't have one. So it's like going into the ring and going to the ring and getting knocked out by no other boxer. I mean, all the stores in Phoenix were so tipped over because they lost the quality sweepstakes, and there wasn't even a Nordstrom's there. It was just by reputation. So reputation is the most important thing you have. And your product service quality is the key determinant of your reputation. The higher your quality product in the perception of your customers, the greater will be your sales, the greater will be your customer loyalty, the greater will be the referral and the word of mouth and the reputation. And reputation for quality is 85% of your business success. This has to be your obsessive focus, is on having in your area the highest quality. Now people say, well, there's so many competitors in my field. We'll talk about this later. Every person has the ability to be the highest quality in some niche. There's a wonderful thing. When you're a professional speaker, when you start off, you're usually very jealous of all the other speakers because they're making more money than you and obviously not as good as you. There's a little joke in professional speaking. They say, how many speakers does it take to change a light bulb? And the answer is only one. And no, it takes 100. One to change the light bulb and 99 to sit there and say, I could have done it better than that. Now in business, we start off in business and we think there's so many competitors. Well, there's always a way for you, using your creativity, to be the best in your field. And there's a wonderful line, I love this line, is be yourself, everybody else is already taken. And you can be yourself. And this is what I learned in speaking, is that every single speaker can be excellent in their niche. They just have to find and define their niche. And the best companies will tell you, and you look at Good to Great by Jim Collins, and he looks at companies who said, can we be the best in this niche against the kind of competition we're facing in the world? And you know what they said? We can't. We cannot be the best. We cannot win on so we shut it down. And they sold the whole company, sold the plants, the factories, the mills, and everything else, and took the money and went into an industry where they could be the best. Because they refused to try to stay in an industry where they could not excel. And I pass this on to you. It's a moral lesson. I'm not entertaining you with stories. Is you have to say, do I have the ability to be the best in my field? Do I have the knowledge, the skill, the drive, the determination, the love for the business? Here's an important 3 circles from Jim Collins. And this is really, really important for your success and my success. He said the three keys to success in business are, first of all, passion. Now, passion means you love your business. You love your product, you love your service, you love to talk about it, use it, share it, give it to other people. Your greatest experiences are happy customers. There's a lot of people who sell products where the customers don't even care about the customers. Only can I make a buck. But true entrepreneurs, people who are successful, who love their work, have a passion for what they do. If you don't have a passion for what you do, if you don't love the product, you're in the wrong field, because you'll never have the energy necessary to keep on going until you're a big success. Now, the second part of this equation is excellence, is you have the ability to be excellent in this area. You have the capacity to excel. And so there must be something, and excel, by the way, means to be in the top 10%. If you need to be in the top 10% of your field in order to survive and thrive against competition. And the third circle, like this, is profitable. It has to be an area where you can be really profitable if you're really good doing what you really love. And they call this the sweet spot. So this is the sweet spot. And every single company that is successful, prosperous, respected, at the top of their game, and so on, is a company that's found the sweet spot. And finding the sweet spot's not easy. You don't just say, okay, I think I'll find a place where I'm passionate and it's profitable and I can be excellent. You have to experiment and experiment and experiment until you finally find the sweet spot, and then you throw your whole heart into that against your competition, and you're going to have a fabulous life. But until you do, you'll always be struggling, you'll always be worrying about money. You'll always be competing, you'll always be losing sales, and blah, blah, blah. Are you with me so far? And so it's interesting, if you ask, and I've done strategic planning with many companies, including the biggest company I ever did was a $72 billion company, where I spent 2 or 3 days in a retreat with their senior executives developing a strategic plan for the future. And the first thing I do in strategic planning, which we'll come to later on this morning, is I talk about values. What are your values? We go through a values clarification exercise. And I've been quite amazed, because the first time I did this was 28 years ago with a $1 billion company, and I still do it with small and large companies. Whenever I go through the values exercise, in every case without exception, you know what the number one value that the executives around the table agree is their basic organizing principle? Can you guess what it is? Integrity. It's integrity. Now, integrity is big. Integrity is honesty, not only honesty with everybody with whom you deal with, but honesty with yourself. And being honest with yourself is a real toughie. It's real easy to tell the truth to others in a way if you've been brought up well, but to tell the truth to yourself is really important. And that's why you have to say, do I really have a passion for this? Do I have the determination to spend years becoming absolutely excellent in this? And is it profitable? Many people say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Yes, but you're going to be poor all your life because nobody's going to pay you any money for it. Yes, but it's my passion. Ah, shut up. People say you want to fulfill your passion, get rich, okay? Get rich doing something that you really enjoy, do it really well, make a lot of money, and then give your own money away. Everybody says, I want to fulfill my passion with somebody else's money. I want you to give me your money so I can fulfill my passion, actually, so I can pay my bills. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. In fact, I just went. All right. So the key measure of business success, and this is my breakthrough, all right, is how often customers say the words, this is a great product. This is a great product. This is the critical measure that determines your business success, is how often your customers, after consuming your product or service, say, this is a great product. For example, we'd have Infusionsoft. We use it throughout our business. Why? Because it's a great product. We've tried every other type of software that's available there. And even though you may not have fully understood what he was talking about, because I didn't, it's okay. Yet we use Infusionsoft that everybody we know who's competitive uses Infusionsoft because it is just so far advanced. We use Mike Koenig's program because it's just the highest advanced. I'll talk to you about Jennifer Rogerson's personal evaluations and assessments are the best in the world. And so, so always we say this is a great product. And your job is to get an enormous number of people saying this is a great product. We'll talk more about this as we go along, exactly how you can do it. So areas of excellence is a really interesting exercise we're going to do. The market only pays superior rewards for excellent products and services. Oop, I hope I didn't jump ahead here. I did. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you to go to the exercise which is on page 56. It says offer a great product or service. It says here quality is what your customers say it is. All right. Your quality rating is the percentage of the time that your product or service does what you say it will do. Now, you heard about quality management, quality circles, quality ratings, and so on. Basically, if your percentage of quality is how often you fulfill your promises. You say, if you buy my product or service, you come to my restaurant, I will give you an excellent experience in terms of food quality and service. And the percentage of times that you do that is your quality rating. And your goal is what? What is your goal? What's your percentage goal? 100%. You want 100% of your customers to be happy as pigs, and you know what? After they've used your product or service. And so you'll find that really successful business people are hypersensitive to any unhappiness on the part of their customers. They want their customers to be happy. And if their customers aren't happy, they take it so personally, they'll change it, they'll alter it, they'll give refunds, they'll do anything because they know that happy customers are the key to the future. Happy customers are the future. There is no future without happy customers. So I want you to answer these questions. And I'm going to explain them a little bit. Number one is, what exactly do you sell? And when you describe your product or service, you do not mention your product or service. You only mention the outcome or result or transformation that takes place in your customer's life or work after using it. So for example, if you are selling life insurance, you wouldn't say, I sell life insurance. You would say, I sell peace of mind and financial independence. I sell freedom from worry and care. I sell the ability to plan your estate effectively so your family is taken care of. You don't even mention the product. And whenever you ask this question, what exactly do you sell, the great question of all in business is always answered in terms of what it does to change and improve the life of your customer. Not what you sell, but what it does. All right? Now, number two is, what does your customer consider value? What change or transformation in their life do they want and they're willing to pay you money for? They want their life to be easier, to be more secure, to want to be wealthier, to want to be healthier, to want to be happier. In infomercials, there's three things that sell in infomercials. Can you guess what they are? More money, more beauty, better health, or better fitness. More money, more beauty, or better health and fitness. And so therefore you'll find the infomercials that work offer to make you more beautiful, make you more money, or make you fitter, or thinner, or the abdomizer, or whatever else it happens to be. Are you with me so far? There's even people who sell exercise programs on television. Can you imagine doing something like that? Actually, we've got one of the top sellers of exercise programs in the world in this room today. So number three is, what does your product service achieve, avoid, or preserve for your customer? Really good ways of thinking. Which of your products or services sell the most easily and are the most popular? Which one do customers like the most? What are the best compliments you receive from your happy customers? This is really important because your happy customers will tell you what you need to do more of to get even more happy customers. They will tell you that almost like an unerring feedback. They'll tell you what you need to do, what you're selling that's really good, what people want, and so on. What do your products or services offer to your customers that make them superior? And this is important. Competition, competition, competition. You've got to be superior, and you need to be usually superior in three different ways. It's called the law of three in product quality. Is you've got to be better, faster, cheaper, more convenient, easier to get, better priced, better terms. You've got to look for three different ways where your product or service excels and is superior to your competitors. If a customer said to you, how come I should buy from you rather than from someone else? You say, because of this, bang, bang, bang. There's three reasons why it's better to buy from me than someone else. And if you don't know what they are, it's almost impossible to sell. And we'll come back to this several times today. Okay, number 7 is 20% of your features and benefits account for 80% of customer satisfaction. What are they? If your best products were perfect in the minds of your customers, how would they be different from today? If your best products cause customers to say, geez, this is a great product. Woo, this is a great service. Geez, this is a great company. If that would trigger that response from your customers, what would your product or service contain? Got to think about this. There's certain thinking skills that only you can do. What are your core competencies in your business that enable you to produce excellent products and services? That means what are the special skills that you have that makes your business outstanding? Every business starts around core competencies. It could be the competency of selling. I know people who are so good at selling, they just find an excellent product that they can put into their production line because they can sell like a dam. So that's their core competence. And somebody's core competence is technology. Somebody else's core competence is that they're absolutely excellent in a particular area that's important to customers. What is your core competence? What is the core around which your business was built?
Thanks for watching Neuro Legend. We love to hear from you. Leave in the comments section where you are from and what one action you will take as a result of what you have learned. We have tons of valuable materials to help you live, learn, and grow. To get more of this video or thousands of our rich content, subscribe to our channel now, and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so before. And type the following in the comments section. I subscribe to Neuro Legend because I am successful. See you in the next video.